Good morning, or good day as they say here in the Bahamas. Today, I am starting my adventure at Primeval Forest National Park, which is an undisturbed old-growth forest, to show you just what this island would have looked like hundreds of years ago. This particular park was spared development and spared farming because of the geology and the geography. It wasn't suitable for farming. So we get to see what the plants, what the maybe animals, and what the trees and what the environment looked like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. You know that's right up my alley if you've been following along. So let's get going and take a look at this beautiful primeval forest here in the Bahamas.
Imagine stepping back in time to a place unchanged for thousands of years. This primeval forest is a living relic. Walking through here, you can almost feel the heartbeat of nature itself.
It's not only plants inside forests like these, it's also fungi. Funguses. So what a fungus does is it's a critical component of the decomposition of things at the bottom of the forest floor. It's kind of a hybrid between animals and plants. It grows everywhere, even on rocks. So what we're getting to see here are really beautiful examples of that karst topography. That's karst, K-A-R-S-T. And it's that somewhat unique geological formation that is really common of the Bahamian Islands and also parts of Mexico that I've gone to in some of the videos that I've done in the Yucatan Peninsula. But in this particular primeval forest, they are very typical karst formations. They're just more dense and more common, so we get to see a lot of them in one spot. Basically what it is eroded limestone that forms sinkholes and caves and those things you see that are kind of some of the special events of some of these islands, like the cenotes in Mexico or the blue caves and the blue holes here in the Bahamas. That's formed by that limestone, which rain and water has gradually eroded away. Because limestone is basically millions of years old living beings that had died and formed the land that we're now standing on.
Karst topography, with its rugged limestone formations and deep sinkholes, tells a story of geological evolution. These formations are not only beautiful, but essential to the forest's ecosystem. And then there's the fungal life, an intricate network of fungi that thrive in the humid, nutrient-rich environment.
Well, this little grotto, as you could perhaps call it, is particularly paradisical, I would say. Just me and my friend here, and fresh air, and birds, even though we're really on the main island. So one thing that I find particularly amazing, interesting, and unique, if you see these things hanging down, it look almost like weeping willow branches. They're actually roots. They're an attempt to create roots somehow from above. I have to research a little bit more, but like it's stuck in the ground, like a root there, and it's coming from there. It's really fascinating and really beautiful. I don't know if that's because the roots went down and started growing after this had sunk, or if the roots were already there and then the ground gradually sunk when the sea level changed, leaving an exposure of roots. Definitely a great place to spend a moment if you like old growth forests and seeing what the world looked like before we touched it. Here you get to see evidence that this was once a coral reef underwater, a herringbone fossil. You can also see what they call, that looks like a stack of ice cream cones, which are ancient anemones, and then little holes that look like straws could go through them. And this was where a certain kind of shrimp would burrow. So this was all underwater. It's supposed to be the herringbone somewhere in there. The ancient anemones there. And the Ophiomorpha supposedly up here. If you duck, you get a view of a really, really cool semi-cave, but you gotta be willing to crawl. Didn't know I was going spelunking today, but hey, it's worth the $12 entrance fee. Get to see some really unique habitats and have it all to yourself. Where can you do that, right? You know, I often think about this when I'm in hot tropical areas because I'm not from a hot tropical area, I'm from a cooler area. Most of my ancestors are from a cooler area. So I just think, God, how did people live without air conditioning? How did they deal with it? But one thing I think about when I'm here, especially when I come in these forests, is that, you know, natives, before wide-scale farming, before colonization, probably spent a lot of time in the forest. And the forest is naturally cool. I mean, that's what trees do, right? So it's warm here in the forest, but it's not unbearable as if you were out in the sun in a field. It makes a big difference. And this right here is the valuable, beautiful, ancient mahogany tree. This is a prime example of some of the large old growth trees that would have covered these Bahamian islands. Now the land where the trees grew was more fertile, so that's why they got cleared first for the farms and the loyalist plantations. And then of course the value of mahogany itself and the wood in shipbuilding. But this old tree lasted. So think about this the next time you think about your mahogany furniture. Oh, holy shit. Oh my God. There's been nobody on this trail today. Holy crap. I hope that spider is not poisonous. I literally almost ran face first because I was looking at the tree into this huge spider web with one of the largest, oh my God. There we go. So I just want to give you some perspective as to where that spider's nest was. Walking down the trail, spider's web, beautiful web by the way. Walking down the trail, it starts right here, so chest level. I would have walked into it like face level. The spider is now right there. You can barely see it with this focus. It's actually right there, a few inches from my finger. When I was walking through, it was down more here in the middle, so I literally would have walked like face first into the spider. It's literally right, spanning between this tree and this tree. And like, it was it's actually connecting all the way down here to this railing. Crazy.
In the heart of this primeval paradise, nature's wonders are always at play. Like this stunning orb spider spinning its intricate web. Encounters with creatures like these remind us of the delicate balance that exists in this ecosystem.
All right, that was actually pretty awesome. We got to see what the primeval forest would have looked like in these islands of the Bahamas hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Got to see a big, huge mahogany tree, a very precious, valuable, and beautiful resource. And of course, at the end, got really scared by that huge yellow and black spider. Finally figured out how to do a manual focus so I could show it to you guys. So that's gonna be the highlight, wow. Let's head on to the next stop. I'm gonna check out some other habitats and museums here in the Bahamas. Let's go. Yeah, so the Primeval Forest National Park here in the Bahamas is actually a really well done facility, I must say. Friendly staff, really nicely maintained trails, and if you know what you're looking at, which is something that, who knows, maybe 100 years from now you won't be able to see it all in old growth forest, it's definitely worth it.
Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into an old growth primeval forest dream. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you're as captivated by the primeval forest as I am. There's so much to do on Nassau Island in the Bahamas, so when you finish here, I think it's time to hit the beach. maybe the aquarium, or go to an old plantation and see the still standing slave quarters. Guess what? I've got videos on all of those too, so just click right here.